is Baruch Fleischman. It's Erev Shabbos, Parsha Shoftim. It's my son's Parsha. So coming over here, we're going to be looking at the typical elements of Rosh Hashanah as Rosh Hashanah is getting closer and closer to us. Let's go right into it. And there's possibly some really nice secrets. Let me put this on hold 1 second. So, we're on page Ayin Zion. And we're going to be looking at this word right here, the word Elul. Just looking at it for a second, does it come out to 31, 37, 67? Doesn't ring a bell to me. Now, at this point, so this is Elul hu b'chaytim. Interesting phrase. Elul is in the nose. But they're still missing, or remaining, the mouth, her mouth. Which is not really referenced in the concept of months. Because there are 6 months, is what part, maybe that's what he's saying. There's 6 months in the summer. That's we're in the summer right now. And not 7, because the mouth is number 7. Let's see what else it says. So if you look at the 6 months of the summertime, they're male, they're masculine, al derek hazan, this way. Now, how does that go? He says that I said this right, the chorif. I said exactly wrong. Gam sheshes chodshei hachorif, the winter, they're masculine, al derek hazan. So he says masculine. The word is actually male, masculine. Tishrei, who goes Zachar, is the skull of the Zachar. Cheshvan is in Kislev. Trin Udnim, they represent the ears. Tevis is Shabbat. Trin Ayin. Adar, Adar is the nose. Nishar Peh, the mouth is not part of this, but counted here. It's one of the tikunim of the skull, but it's not counted here. So he said, Nishar Peh Shal Zachar She'ein Lo Remez B'Chodashim, which has no reference in the months. Let's see the next one. But the Siva Zul, for this reason, here we go on page Ches. The Siva Zul Nitztavu Sanhedrin Nekadesh Esachodesh Mitzvahs Aseh. So therefore the Sanhedrin made the renewal, the blessing for the month, a positive commandment, and they actually said it. And those are the words that they said. Because the pasuk says that you should call them out at their seasons. He says, Atem kasid. So he says it should be written. I went through this apparently a little bit before. He says, Atem tikru atem b'moadam. It means that you should call it out. Because we see over here that the cause, that the aspect of the mouth of the male and of the female too, it's not counted amongst the months of the year. So therefore it has to be hinted at or directed by the Sanhedrin. And Makachim Osam B'Pihem, they do it with their mouths. Now you can really understand the correct thought here, the proper thought. Why you only bring in a leap year, only on the last month. The last month of the last month of the 6 months of the winter time. Lama ein ma'abirim as Elul. So then, why is it if you could do that in Adar, which is Pisces, why can't you do the same thing on the feminine side, which is in Elul, the opposite, which is Virgo, Shehu b'Sov Chodshei HaKayetz, which is the end of the month of the summertime. Well, let's come over and let's read the typical bonus, because I think that there's a lot missing here and we need to get into it. So it looks like I've been here before and I have other references to the last time I was here. It says we're going to just read the typical bonus, and that's going to be our guide. So now the months of the year have been enumerated. Lefi Avari upon the Rosh Nok, and you could count them according to the different organs of the head of Malchus, of the female aspect. Nishara Radayim Shtei Ivarim Shalom, Pirit Esachadashim Abukonim Negdan. But then there's still two other months that have nothing particularly directed at them. Which is the nose and which is the mouth. Parat Osam Ato, and so at Parat Osam, and they're going to explain them now, Ki Elul Hu Keneged the Chayta, because Elul is the month that goes with the nose. So he says, let's see how it goes. Keneged Kol Ivari Rosh Nuk Yeshtam Chadashim Hamukuvonim Negdam. So for every month, there is also, if you look at Malchus, and we were to say that Malchus had the features of a human being, she is the template for the features of the human being, or the progenitor, or the root of the features of a human being. I think I like the word root here. Keneged Kol Evari Rosh Nokli. This corresponding in Malchus actually has all these different organs of the head. Yeshna Chodashim, then there are going to be months that apply to each one of them. So we have to understand this is like a really kind of a little bit deep, more detailed cycle. He said, Chodashim Negdan Kamal Shemafur Sidra Nael, like example that we mentioned what their order was up above. Keneged the pad the Nook, but when you come down, you count 6, because the Nook has 6 months that correspond to the 6 organs of her face, which are like the skull, the ears, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, all those things. There are actually 7 of those. So he says, Keneged the pad the Nook, but if you correspond to the mouth of the Nook, Ein Shum Chodesh Makaba Negda, there is no month that really goes with the 7. So now, what exactly are we getting here? So let's say like the 7th month is our month. It's the month of Elul. He says that the month of Elul really corresponds to the nose of Malchus. Well, what do we get out of the nose? Breath, breathing, life. So that's what I can tell you so far. He says, nisan ad Elul. So, for example, if we go through, start in Nisan, and we count all the way through Elul, you can see a reference there. There's a corresponding one connected, the one opposite the other, either the month versus different organs of the face. These are also called the tikunim of the face. So al elam ramazim be'ivariha rosh denuk kach meramazim sheshes chadra achorish. So if you turn it around, you look at the winter, which is the male side of the year, you're going to be able to get a count of 6 also in tishrei-Adar. That goes from Tishrei to Adar. Shehem b'dechura be'ivariha ponim. So these are the limbs or the organs of the face. Again, the tikunim of the face, the skull, the ears, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. And he's calling the limbs of the face. Chodesh Tishrei, so in Tishrei, now we're coming to Tishrei. Nichlal Barosh Zer Anpin is part of the head of Zer Anpin, corresponding to his skull. Chodshei Cheshvan the Kislev, let's go to the next 2 months. Nichlal and Barosh Zer Anpin, they're also part of the Rosh Zer Anpin. In other words, they have designated their panimi to the Rosh Zer Anpin. The Rosh Zer Anpin is panimi to them. That's more like it. Keneged Shnei Oznayim Shalom. Kasher Chodesh HaCheshvan Keneged Ozen Yomim. So Cheshvan is the right ear. Listen. V'Chodesh Kislev Keneged Ozen small than Kislev, which comes the left ear. Then he says Chodesh Teves v'Shvat. Then you have the next 2 numbers. Klal and Barosh Zer Anpin. They're also are expressed in the hair are rooted. Rooted in the head of Zer Anpin. Keneged Shnei Einayim Shalo. So that's the to his eyes. Kasher v'Chodesh Teves Keneged Ayin Yomim. Teves is the right eye. V'Chodesh Shvat Keneged Ayin small. Chodesh Adar. Now we come to the month called Adar. Purim, then, So he said, Nichlal Barosh Zer Anpin Keneged the Chodesh Shalo. So it's part of the head of Zer Anpin. And this particular part refers to his nose. Keneged Kol Evari Rosh there Anpin. So now we've looked at the months that correspond to the 6 Evarim of the head of the Nukva, and the 6 months that correspond to the head of the Zachar. Keneged Kol Evari Rosh there Anpin. Yeshnan Chadashim Mekuvanim Negdam, so that they have opposite them and are rooted within them the months of the year. The Gemashim before it Sidrin La'el, as this particular order has been explained up above, Keneged the Pad, but according to that, the problem is that when you come to the mouth, there is no month. Because if you do the mouths both in the summer and on the winter, then you would have 14 months. So here, what do you do? Ein Shum Chodesh Mekavum Gnegdo. There's no month that corresponds to it. The fish Ein Shum Chodesh Amekuven Neged Ped is their Anpin. Because of that fact that there is no month that goes by that is rooted in the mouth is their Anpin. Okay, Nitztava based then b'mitzvos asay. So therefore, there was a commandment of the base din la'aver chodesh nosef, in order to bring in a new month. Shehei Keneged the Ped, that it should correspond to the mouth. Because the month which is extended, in other words, it becomes a second version that's an ordered base. Which is really reference to the mouth of Zeranpin. How does it come? How do we express the root of this? The mouth, by the Sanhedrin actually saying this out. Because they actually bring out the word Mekudesh. Look at Moshe Darsh Chazal, al apostle v'yadaber Moshe as Moadei Hashem, where he said that Moshe actually spoke them out when he said it. The speaking it out, Peh is Malchus Peh. So therefore the lowest part, which we're missing the Malchus part, is coming out of the mouth. La'achar shekidish Rosh based then as Chodesh Adar Hamauver. Actually, and when this takes place, when he makes the new month of Adar, V'Hama Mekudesh, and he says the word Mekudesh, only him call the Am Akra Mekudesh Mekudesh. Then the people who are gathered now all say Mekudesh Mekudesh. They say it twice. Like a Moshe Darsa Chazal al Pasuk, like the rabbis explain like this. This is a Gemara, or this is a part. Well, he's just saying this in the. I guess in the Zohar. So he says, Al Pasuk, Asher Tikra Osam B'Muadam. He says that you'll call them out in their seasons. Atem Kasiv. You are the ones that are going to call them out. Because the Jewish people are commanded to be Kaddish the month with their mouth. So this is how we get that part of their mouth. Mekudesh, and we call out and we say Mekudesh Mekudesh. So therefore we see the secret over here is in the fact that you have to say it with your mouth. That in itself makes the Kedusha. Being lo hotzia b'pihem, but they don't say it over lomar hachodesh Mekudesh, and it doesn't come out of their mouth and say that the month is Mekudesh. None is abrishon, then you don't have an extra month. Hatam sheyesh lehotzia b'pedaik shachodesh Mekudesh. So the reason why it comes out, it has to come out of your mouth that when you say hachodesh, to say that the month is Mekudesh. It's because the mouth of Zer Anpin and the Nukva ain't lo remez be'echem echad shel. There is no place in the mouth, and understand the concept of a mouth is, he's really describing. It's a little hard to congeal after trying to juggle it together. The mouth pronounces things and makes them heard and makes them distinct. So when you do that, you're separating this particular concept of Mekudesh, saying this actually 3 times. He said, so that it has no remes automatically from one of the months of the year. So now when you come and you mekadesh the month of Adar, Adar Hasheni, yesh no chodesh nusaf. This is what adds the new month. Shehu neged the pad is to. Also, he said that here it says the zun, the nuk, but let's just say the za and his nuk. That's zun. Okay, so therefore you have to bring it out of the mouth specifically, because the new month, which refers to the mouth as their unpin, Sanhedrin as a diva and it comes out as a result of the fact that the Sanhedrin says this with their mouths. So I said, come on now. This is all, like that's a great thing about learning in the Rav. It keep building and building and building. And it's very difficult to jump around and really see what he's saying. And that's the reason why I'm always trying to start from a beginning point. But of course, every year Rosh Hashanah is coming. It's about a little bit over 3 weeks away. And then we'll be at the next thing. Then we'll be the next thing because the world keeps turning. And so therefore you start again. Be able to see these things, look at a different angle of it. So in order to understand what we're going to say later on, he says, and as a result of being Mekadesh the month by the Beis Din, and they do it out loud with their mouths, so therefore this allows us to be able to to be able to finish up. Remember the word Mashlima bezeh as bechinas hapeh. So you're able to finish up the aspect of the mouth of the summertime months. Of a bechinas hapeh shel chodesh hachoresh. So he says that idea that you just heard, it refers to the nukvadika months, the months of the female months. So the female months is by announcing this. Every time we make an announcement during the female months, Makudish, every time we do this, we are actually using that seventh aspect. Now, maybe he means just an Elul, I'm not sure, but here's the idea. But actually, what you have to do in the wintertime months, that can only be done by bringing in an extending notice the month of Adar into a second month. But often Adar Rishon hu keneged ha'chaitim, and it goes like this: that the first Adar corresponds to the nose, but Adar Sheni hu keneged peh corresponds to the mouth. The sixth one is the nose, the seventh one is the mouth. Now we have just a little bit more to see, and let's see what else we can find. So now that I taught you this intro, I'll give you a little intro here. Now you're going to be able to understand why it is that Adar is the month that is actually extended into a second month. And we don't do that for the month of Elul, which is at Bechodesh HaKayitz, which is in the summertime. Because the concept of extending the month into another month, it only really refers to the months of the winter. Now we have one more to go, and let's see if he fills in the blank before we get to the next piece. He says that so along the way you see like this. It really would have been proper to do Elul too. Then, because then that would be direct reference to the mouth of the Nook. Like you have the same thing over there by Adar, but that's the male side. So according to what's been said, this works out. The so in the months of the summer, I should say why the month of the summer is this. I don't think he says it yet. He says that it's sufficient in the summertime just to have it come out of the mouth, not to actually push the months forward. And this is how we complete the aspect of the mouth and relate the mouth of the nukva through the just speaking of it. But you don't have to do it actually in action. Okay, this is Baruch Fleischman. Interesting. Still have a question about how does that work. We'll see what else there is for the next year. It's Baruch Fleischman, Tikun Elevator Column.